Hey Bookworms, welcome back to the channel. Oh god, no, you didn't want to do that. Did not want to be part of that. Anyway, take a tour. Hey Bookworms, welcome back to the channel and welcome if you're new. It's Sam and today we're going to be doing a reading challenge. So this isn't going to be like a massive reading challenge like where I read 5 books in a month or 7 books in a week. It's kind of a personal challenge that I want to do because I've never been able to reach this number ever since January of last year, and that's to read 10 books or more this month. And I thought I'd bring you guys along on a journey. I asked over on my Bookstagram if you guys wanted to see me film this, are you interested in watching it, and most people clicked yes. So here we are. Before we begin, if you haven't followed me on my Bookstagram, definitely go over there and follow me because I ask questions and I update you guys if the video's going to be late and that sort of thing. My plan for this video is to give you guys like weekly updates with my reading to let you know how far in on the challenge I'm doing, how well I'm doing, if I'm doing really bad. So there won't be a wrap up for June because this video is pretty much going to be that as well, where I'm going to be telling you how I felt about the book, my rating and all that good stuff, and my cat's about to touch my tripod. Excuse me. Yeah. So my goal is to reach 10 books, but if I can get to 15, that would be great. That sounds terrifying to me. I just don't know how other YouTubers manage to read like 24 books in a month, right? But you guys are gonna come. Go on. You guys are gonna come along on a journey with me, see if I can do this challenge. I've already read one book and it's currently it's Saturday the 4th today, and I've already read one book and I'm almost finished with my second book. So far, you know, we're doing good. And he's doing it again. Can you come here? Oh my god, he got my right. Okay, we'll be right. So I'm going to try to read at least 3 books a week. If I can. I'll try to read 4. The first time I update you guys will be on Monday or Tuesday, because technically this month started on a Tuesday, I think. Yeah, I think it started on Tuesday, so I should be updating you guys on a Tuesday to let you know the books I've read, what I plan to read next, how I'm going. Wish me luck, because I'm nervous. See you in the next clip. Oh my god! What was that? See you in the next clip. Okay, I will see you guys in the next clip. Hello guys, it is Wednesday the 8th now. We're officially just over a week into the month of June and to my challenge, and so far I'm doing really well, which by the way, did not think that I'd be doing this well. I thought I'd be struggling, but I sort of set myself a challenge within the challenge where I was trying to read 1 book every 2 days. So yeah, and that actually somehow worked out. I feel like this challenge has kind of made me give up less like TV time and screen time and read more, because I managed to read 4 books so far, and we've only just coming in, well, we're only just on the 8th. So yeah, I read all of these books within 2 days, apart from the last book I read literally yesterday. I just binge read it, which is why I'm a little bit late giving you the update. I know I said to you guys I was going to give you an update at the end of each week, but my mum came over and then I ended up just binge reading, so I just decided I'd give you guys the update today. So let's talk about the books that I read. The first book that I read this month was This Time Next Year. I was meant to read this one last year, didn't get around to it, so I was like, I'll keep it for this year, December. But then I was like, you know what? Now I actually really want to read it. We follow these 2 characters who meet on New Year's Eve, and they were both born on the same day. But the guy Quinn, his mother stole Minnie's mum's name, so she's meant to be called Quinn, but now she's called Minnie Cooper. That's fun. And this is just about that is set over the year with loads of flashbacks to New Year's Eve. So it's the perfect read for New Year's Eve time and around Christmassy time if you are looking for something. And it's classed as a romance. I gave this book 3 stars because it's classed as a romance, but I feel like we just did not get enough of Quinn and Minnie. We barely got many scenes with them, and it was hard for you to like really root for them as a couple when you're not really getting much. I did love Minnie's character, however she did kind of get on my nerves a little bit, just with the whole she believes that she's jinxed and that she got bad luck and it's Quinn's fault, and she's kind of ignorant because Quinn's Aussie family's got money and she just assumes like, oh wow, he's so lucky, he's got everything perfect. Just because she's got stuff going wrong in her life, she doesn't see that other people can have that as well. So she kind of did do my head in slightly with that. And yeah, I mean, all in all, I did enjoy the book, which is why I'm giving it 3 stars, because it is a good read, but I really would have liked a bit more of Minnie and Quinn. And then I ended up reading a new release that came out during the month of June, and that is American Royals Rivals. I love this series, and there's going to be a 4th book. I honestly thought this was going to be the last one until I saw the end bit. But you know what? I'm not angry, because oh boy, the way this book left off is probably one of the best ways this whole series has left off. Like during the series, like book 1 was good, book 2 ended good, but this one was just like wow. And I believe that the next one is probably going to be the last one. I feel like it's kind of wrapping up to that. If you don't know what this series is, we follow the character Beatrice, Samantha, Daphne, and Nina. Beatrice is next in line to be the queen. Samantha is the princess, and then we have her twin brother Jefferson. We have Nina, who is best friends with Samantha. She's not royal, she's just best friends with her. And then we got Daphne, who used to date Jefferson and wants him back. So I don't want to give you guys any spoilers just in case you haven't read this series, but it's sort of like Gossip Girl meets Princess's Diaries. There's a lot of drama, romance, twists, just a lot of fun, and I gave this book 5 stars. A lot of people disagree with my ratings for this series, but I am absolutely trash for this series, for these characters, and being able to go back into the world and just read from them again was just so good, and I am dying for the next one, but we have to wait until 2023. Like, why? Then the next book, I think it either came out within May or June time, and I kept seeing this one everywhere. It's from a new author, everyone was talking about it, and I was just like, I'm not interested. But then I ended up getting it and reading it, and that is Every Summer After. We follow a character whose family take her up to this cabin every summer, and she meets this boy. I'm gonna forget his name. Oh my god, I forgot his name. When you read too many books, you know, it's difficult. Sam! How have I forgot that? Welcome back to the channel, welcome you. It's Sam, it's Sam, it's Sam. She meets this boy called Sam when she's 13, and they just hit it off, and you get to see their story through the past chapters, because this book's set with 2 timelines. So you've got the present day where characters now in their 30s, and then you've got the past where they're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, so it kind of like goes up and up and up. Something happened, and the characters haven't spoken in 12 years, and sort of like uncover that as the book goes on. You get to sort of see how the characters grew to fall in love, and then you get to see how it all gets sort of like comes about when the character Percy has to go back to the little town because boys Sam and his brother's mum has passed away. This is honestly one of those books that took me by surprise, because I went into it just expecting it to be a 3 star and not really loving it that much, but wow, I fell in love with this book, and it's such a perfect summer read. I ended up giving this book 5 stars as well, like 2 5 stars, and we're only in the first week of June. So yeah, I would highly recommend this book if you've been seeing it around but you're not sure. Definitely pick it up or go rent it out from your library, because it's honestly such a beautiful story. The final book is the one that I read in a day. Now you're probably thinking this is probably like got to be good if I binged it in a day. No, that worth The Night Shift. So this is classed as like a thriller, suspense, mystery. So I'm often expecting the whole thriller aspect to be in this book, but it wasn't. It's more of just a dark mystery, and I just really hate it when authors or publishers like label it as the wrong genre, because you're going in expecting it and then you're very disappointed when it's not that. So if you don't know what this book's about, we follow this murder that happened in 1999 at a Blockbuster's, and there was only 1 survivor, and then a couple of years later this same sort of thing happens again at an ice cream parlor, and again there's only 1 survivor, and we follow 3 characters. We follow Sarah Kenner, who is a police officer and she's very heavily pregnant. We follow Chris, who is the brother of the guy who was accused of the murder back in 1999, and we follow Ella, who is the survivor from the murders that happened back in 1999. The chapters are really short, so you can get through this book really, really quick, and it did keep me intrigued. However, I felt like the character who survived from the present day murders was a bit of a cliche. I can't really explain why. My thoughts are for that reason, because I don't want to give it away, just in case you are planning on reading this. And nothing really seemed to really happen until like the very end. And then to me, this felt like so over the top that I was just like, this ending is really disappointing. I gave this book 2 stars because it was just okay. Like, it was okay. I didn't think it was like really good or anything like that. I'm glad that I read it. But yeah, like I said, it was just okay. I was just really disappointed with the ending and the whole fact that this book just didn't read like a thriller to me, and that's what I was hoping for. I will say there was a couple moments in this book that were really sad. Yeah, I'm just really disappointed by this one. I'm actually sending it back and swapping it out for a different book because I'm never going to read it again, and I still have like 3 weeks to return it. So unfortunately this one will be going back, but either way, I've read 4 books, so we're 4 books down, and I'm more positive now that I can read more than 10 books. I just hit my lip. I'm hoping I can read 15 books now. I'm saying that, and probably this week would be really bad for reading. But this challenge has really encouraged me to stop watching TV, stop being on my phone, and just focus on reading. And I'm really glad that I've done this. And yeah, you guys need to let me know if you've read any of these. I'd like to know what your thoughts are, and also let me know if there's any other challenges as well that you'd like me to do in the future. So now I need to go and decide what I'm going to read next because I have no idea. But yeah, I have some ideas, maybe, but I'm like in that mood where I just don't know what I want to read, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to get 4 books read again this week, and then I'll update you guys again on, I don't know what day, but I'll update you guys again. I might even give you guys updates in between as well. I'll see how I feel because I've not done a challenge video before, so this is all new. But yeah, I will see you guys when I give you an update next. Okay, I am narrowed down to these 2. And this one I've been wanting to read for a while. I know it's really popular. Plus it's by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I loved her book 7 Husbands Ever Knew You Go. It's a lot shorter than this one, but I always have like so many page turn books, so I kind of want to read this one. I remember though the prologue was like 30 pages because I did a video, a try a chapter one, and yeah, if you haven't seen that video guys, I will link it below. So I'm trying to choose between this one and this one, and I've read from these authors before. Page Turn I read from years ago, and this author I read from last year. So I don't know, I might try to decide by seeing what's got the highest rating on Goodreads and then looking at my Instagram and seeing what people said, because I just don't know. Either way, both of these books are going to be read this week. Technically today I wasn't meant to read anything, so I'm getting a bit of an early start, so I could go for this one. I don't know, I'm just in that like this sort of mood where I just have no idea what I want to read. Both of these books have been on my TBR for a while, and yeah, the Taylor Jenkins Reid one, I've heard loads of people talking about it. I literally been wanting to read it every month and I just never got to it. It's a shorter book, so it kind of wins by that. The Page Turn one, 13 Weddings, was one of the books I wanted to read since I did my try a chapter, which was ages ago. I don't remember too much about when I did the try a chapter other than the prologue was really long, and we meet the 2 characters. I don't remember the names, but they're both like on a stag and hen do. They meet, and I remember it being really funny and wanting to continue reading it. Today's kind of like a day where I should have been finishing the night shift book because I finished in one day, and I'm like trying to do it in 2 days, so it gives me a bit of an early head start. I do have friends coming over later and we're playing board games, but they are going bowling first. I'm not going because of my ankle, so I mean I'm sad, but then I get to read. So yeah, I don't know, I'm trying to choose between these 2. Either way, I'm going to read both of them this week, so it doesn't really matter. And I know like they've both got audiobooks as well, so it can help me if I need it. I think what I'm going to do is go on Goodreads, see which has got the highest rating, and then maybe go through my books of grammar to see what people said, and then make up my mind from there. I have grey hair, but I don't want to dye my hair yet. I want to get it done before I go away on vacation. But I might just get a home hair dye for now. But yeah, it's awful. And I'm also back in my pyjamas. I literally got dressed for that video. So, shh. But you know that feeling when you're just more comfortable in your pyjamas? And you got like your blanket, because look at my blanket. Oh, this is so cute. And you got like a little kitty to keep you company. So yeah, gonna make up my mind and let you guys know. So, well, you'll know when I do my update, or I might let you guys know. Alrighty, I don't know, I'll see how I feel. It is, I don't know, 11 o'clock. Is it 11 o'clock?
11:20.
It's 11:22, and since 7 p.m. I've been trying to find something to read, but nothing has been grabbing my attention. Seriously. Okay. Nothing's been grabbing my attention. I've been doing really well on this challenge so far, and oh no, the last couple of hours, nothing I've picked up has grabbed my attention, and I'm really worried that like I'm going into a reading slump. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm ill and that's why I can't focus on anything, so I'm gonna give up on trying to decide what to read next. Go to sleep. What are you doing? I'm gonna go to sleep, and yeah, hopefully morning I'll have more of a idea on what I want to read and I feel much better. Also, like, it's impossible to focus with this around. I mean the fiance, not the chicken. So yeah, I'm hoping that tomorrow. Dude, Okay, guys, yeah, I'm gonna go sleep. Hopefully, I feel better tomorrow morning and be able to pick something to read. I have a few ideas, but yeah, right now I'm just not feeling it. So that's not great when you're doing a challenge. But yeah, this is the probably first time that I started feeling a bit like enjoying this challenge. I'm tired. Okay, so good night, guys. Hey guys, happy Tuesday, the 14th of June. I forgot what it was then. I have officially read 7 books. So we are 7 books into this challenge, which I'm just still stunned about. I normally read about 8 books a month, and I've read almost that in just 2 weeks, which is like a challenge on its own. So now I'm starting to believe that maybe I could read more than 10 books this month, and I'm hoping to aim for 15 now. I think I said this in a previous clip, but yeah, don't hold me for that. But I'm doing really, really well in this challenge. Of course, I think the last clip you guys saw was me struggling to find something to read, and I finally did pick something, which was All Your Perfect by Colleen Hoover. I'm not very far into this yet. I didn't get to read much last night because I was really tired. But yeah, I will be giving you guys information in a week's time about this one, but not too much information because I'm also using this for my Colleen Hoover video that I'm doing. And before we talk about the 3 books I've read since the last update, I will talk about the books that I did DNF, because I have DNF books during this challenge, but I forgot to mention it in the previous little update clip thing. So the book that I actually DNF'd back then, like last week was Deadly Education. This has been on my shelf for a while and I thought I'd finally get to it, but I just wasn't really feeling the writing style. It wasn't really my thing. It was a lot of like paragraphs of just unnecessary information, and yeah, I think I only got like to chapter 2 and I was like, oh, this isn't gonna be my thing, and I just chose to DNF it because I don't have time to waste on this challenge. So I was like, bye. The next book, which I don't have a copy of, is the book Darling Girl. I got that one. I wasn't too sure if I was going to enjoy it, but I knew I could send it back if I read it straight away. I don't know, I just really couldn't get into it. I got a few chapters in and I was just not really feeling it. So yeah, I ended up sending that one back. And then the most recent book that I DNF'd was How to Kill Your Family, which I actually got 200 pages in. I feel like I got cat hair on me. So yeah, I got 200 pages into this one, and I loved the premise of it. The premise is about a serial killer and she's in prison for some crime she didn't commit, but she's actually killed like her family. And I thought it was going to be this book where we're learning about how she killed them, why she did it, but again, in the writing style gave unnecessary information and kept going back and forth. I got really confusing to keep up with who the characters were, what was going on. I don't know, after 200 pages I was like, you know what, it's fair that I can DNF this one. So yeah, we ended up DNFing that one. Now let's talk about the books that I've read since I gave you the last update with the last 4 books I read. And the 5th book that I read this month was Paige Toon's 13 Weddings. I own so many books by this author that I thought it was about time that I start reading some of them. We follow a character who meets this guy one night on her friend's hen do, and he's not his sister's partner's stag do, and they hit off and they end up sleeping together, and then they don't see each other again until about a year and a half later when he's ended up working at the same company that she works at. She takes this side job as a photographer and does all these weddings, and she kind of falls for the guy, but he's getting married to the girlfriend that he was on a break from at the time. And we do have like another love interest in this. I actually really enjoyed this book and I got through it within 2 days, which is the goal I'm trying to set for myself. However, I gave it a 3.5 rating because I just didn't really feel very connected to the romances of this book. But that's not me dissing this book at all. I really love Paige Toon's writing and she's really good at creating a story and making it believable. But yeah, this one was a 3.5 for me. And that reminds me, if you guys follow me on Goodreads, I also now am on a book, a similar one by Goodreads called Literal. I'll link it up here and below. But I really like this one because you can actually do half stars, where on Goodreads you can't do that. So I've been using that a lot more. So I will link that below so you guys can follow me and also check it out for yourself. Next up we have Taylor Jenkins Reid's One True Love. I didn't really know what I was going to feel going into this one. We followed this character called Emma, and Emma and Jesse got together when they were like teenagers, and they've been together for a long time and they get married. Life's pretty much perfect for them. They're traveling. They have a really perfect relationship, and then one day Jesse flies out, I think, to Alaska, and he goes on his helicopter for a trip thing and he never comes back. The helicopter crashes and he is thought to be dead. So our character Emma eventually, after 2 years, moves on and gets engaged to another guy called Sam, and then she gets a phone call and Jesse's alive and coming home. And that's all I really want to say about this book because just that made me want to pick this up. This book was honestly super emotional, really captivated my attention from the very beginning, from the moment that she gets that phone call. And it's just this situation that you can't imagine being in. Like, you lose the love of your life, but then you fall in love again, and now the love of your life is back, and who do you choose? And yeah, this is just amazing, and I gave this one 5 stars. Highly recommend it. Taylor Jenkins Reid is just so incredible at writing, which is why my next read was never Taylor Jenkins Reid, and that was Maybe in Another Life. So I'm really glad that I read this one. We follow a character called Hannah who moves back to LA, moves in with her friend, and then one night they go out to this party, and her ex-boyfriend from university's there, and he asks her to stay out with him, and he'll give her a lift home. And then her best friend Gabby asks her if she wants to leave with her, and we get to see how, if she makes both choices, what would happen if she stays with Ethan that night, what would happen, and what if she goes home with Gabby. And right at the very start of this book, one of the choices that she makes, something massive happens that I did not see coming, that just honestly shocked me. I absolutely love both parallel versions of Hannah's life. Massive things happen in both of them, and her life pretty much changes no matter what. The message is how a tiny choice can impact your life differently, but at the same time it's like, I don't know if I should say that. I'm not going to say that. I want to ruin it. But yeah, this kind of reminds me of the movie Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow, I think, which is why I gravitated towards this. But yeah, this was so good, so addictive. I loved both versions of her life. I absolutely loved the side characters, especially Gabby, her best friend, who is just honestly amazing. Absolutely love her. I loved Hannah. This is a solid 4-star read. I think this is just great, and Taylor Jenkins Reid is now a favourite author, and I need to read the rest of her books. So those are the 3 books I've read since, and yeah, we're on 7 books, which is a little insane. I'm hoping I can get 3 or 4 more books read by the time I give you guys another update. I'm hoping to be a bit out of my little slump that I was having the other day where nothing was kind of gripping my attention. That was just not great, because it kind of put me a day behind my own plan on trying to get books done within 2 days. But I am currently reading this one. I'm enjoying this, so you have to wait to see what my rating is on this until next week. I don't really know what I plan to read next. I have a few options, but my mood changes. Like, so I'm thinking about reading over Witch Haven, Anomaly. Yeah, I have a few choices. I just not been like, I want to read a thriller, but thrillers have not been really getting my attention lately. But I will either give you guys like some mini teeny tiny updates, but the next big update will be when I've read enough 3 or 4 books, so I'll let you guys know what I've read then. It is officially June 30th, and we are officially at the end of June, which means I finished my challenge. And I didn't update you guys last week because I actually reached my goal of 10 books. I just didn't want you guys to know yet. I wanted to see if I could get further along in the challenge. And I've officially read 14 books, which is insane because I always struggle to get past 8 books. I've never been able to do it apart from once last year in January. So the fact that I've read 14 books is insane. Also, I'm going to apologise if you can hear any talking. It's people outside doing work and stuff like that, and also my really mouthy neighbour because she doesn't know how to talk double. So I've officially read 14 books. I know some people manage to read 24 books or even 30 books, but for me this is such a big challenge because I just never thought that was even possible. I almost read 15 books, but that book I do think I'm going to DNF, and that's The Roughest Draft. I've got it on my shelf now, and I've been trying to read it for like 3 days, and I just couldn't get into it. I'm only like 78 pages in and just not wanting to pick it up. So yeah, I don't know. I might have to DNF that one. But let's talk about all the books I read since I last updated you guys, and then we'll do a quick recap on all the star ratings I gave. So I read The Witch Haven. I really enjoyed. This book follows a character who ends up accidentally maybe killing someone, and she's going to go to prison and be arrested and all that sort of thing. And then these 2 women turn up and say that she's sick and she has to go to like the sort of hospital thing there. But when she gets there, she realizes it's not like a hospital at all. It's actually a school for witches, and she discovers that she's a witch and she starts learning all this different magic. But then she meets a character called, I think it is Toby, I could be wrong, and he wants to help teach her like the magic that the school won't teach her, and she has made like 2 friends and they want to learn as well. But she wants to learn like the certain spells so she can talk to her dead brother and find out what happened. And it's pretty much about that, about them learning magic and trying to find out what's happened. And honestly, like the last 100 pages in this book, the twist was so good. The way it ended was just brilliant, and I really actually enjoyed this book. I didn't think I was going to. The book gets straight into it from the get-go. Like from the very first chapter, you get into the main story. It doesn't like mess around. Hooks you, gets you in, and I really enjoyed it. I don't normally love witch books because I feel like they're also predictable, but this one I really did enjoy, and I ended up giving this one a 4 star. Then another book I read this month was A Flicker in the Dark, where we follow a character who is older now, and I think she's a therapist. She's got a few issues where she doesn't like dark or these surprises, and she's affected by something that happened in her past where a bunch of girls had gone missing and they were murdered, and her dad got arrested for the murder. But in present day, some girls start to go missing again, and it's very similar to what happened back then, and they start to think maybe it's a copycat killer. But this book just gripped me from the very get-go, and I loved it from the very first page to the end. I believe I actually read this in a day. The ending was really good. I loved the twist. I loved the tension it builds, and it puts you on the edge of your seat. This was absolutely brilliant. This is basically like the book The Night Shift, but The Night Shift was just done so badly, whereas this one was a 5-star read for me. I would highly recommend this book. It's so good. Next up was The Lucky Escape. I really enjoyed this book. It's such a perfect summer read. We follow a character called Annie who's getting married to a guy called Alexandra, but on the wedding day he doesn't turn up. I keep forgetting his name actually, yeah. So anyway, Alexandra stands up on her wedding day and she's devastated. She's rightfully so hurt and angry. She can't get hold of him because he's just disappeared, and she starts trying to get her life back on track, and she ends up going to this boot camp where she meets a guy who she knew at school. The family of the guy who stood her up, so her ex-fiance now, his family offer her to go on the honeymoon still because they kind of feel really sorry for her, and she ends up going on honeymoon and inviting this guy along with her, and we get to go to Australia, and it's honestly amazing. I loved all this Australia scenes. This book just made me so happy. I gave it a 4.5 star, and the only reason I gave it a 4.5 star was just because I loved more of the Australia scenes because they've done so well and just made me feel like I was on vacation in Hawaii. This was just honestly the perfect time to read this book, and I'm so glad that I did because I love this book. It made me so happy. Keeping it with the romance theme, I ended up reading If I Never Met You, and this book is really hyped. A lot of people seem to really enjoy this one, so I went into it with a lot high expectations. I wasn't disappointed, but it wasn't the star rating I thought it was going to be. We follow this character who has been dating someone, I think, for 18 years, and they break up. They work in the same company. It's really awkward. She's really hurt and angry, and I felt like that bit was portrayed so well, how she reacts to him saying that he wants to break up with her, because something happens later on that she finds out from him, and honestly the guy's kind of a douche, and I really felt sorry for her. She ends up getting stuck in an elevator with a co-worker called James, I think his name's James, and they decide that they will start fake dating as the perfect revenge, but also because he wants to get a promotion, so him being in a relationship will help. And this was a fun read, and I had a good time reading it, but it was just a 3-star for me because when I finished I just thought it was good. It could have been better. I just didn't really love the ending to this book, and I wasn't that invested in the two characters' romance, but all in all it was a good read, and I'm glad I did finally pick it up. Another book I read this month was Gallant by V.E. Schwab, I can never say her name. And this book was disappointing. We follow this character who's in this orphanage, and one day she gets this letter from an uncle that she didn't know existed, inviting her to come to his estate called Gallant. When she gets there, the uncle's not there, and apparently he did not send this letter, and she's told never to go outside after dark and never to go behind the wall because there's something behind this wall. It's I think another realm, but there was just no plot. It just felt like the characters just walking around doing nothing all the time. And then at the very end, when some stuff starts to happen, it wasn't that exciting. It was kind of dull. And I was just a bit disappointed by it. But I did give this book 2.5 stars because I do like the idea of what V.E. Schwab was trying to do. And her writing is always so good. This isn't faulting her writing at all. Her writing is good. But the story itself just lacked a little bit for me. And I just really didn't enjoy it. So yeah, this one was a 2.5 stars, which was really disappointing. But, oh well. Another book I read this month, which was a romance. I think it's a contemporary romance. It's what I thought it was. I would say it's probably more contemporary though, and that was Don't Make Me Turn This Life Around. We follow a character who had cancer, and she's basically been told it's terminal, and one day she's told she's cancer free, but things at home aren't really perfect. She's got problems with her husband, and she has a daughter that's really sick. She has diabetes, so she's always worrying, and she decides to take the family on a vacation to where her and her husband first fell in love, but everything goes wrong, and then a hurricane happens. Things are really intense, and I did enjoy this book somewhat, but I didn't like the main character, Libby. I felt like she's really selfish when it came to her husband, and really selfish with her other daughter. Her attention was on that one daughter who was sick all the time, and her other daughter seemed to get pushed out, and it just always seemed to be what was best for her. But also it just seemed like everybody in this book had something going on. It was just a bit over the top with everyone having something going on. And then the hurricane part of it, where everyone's life was sort of in danger, was the one thing that kind of caught my attention, because obviously the daughter's got diabetes, and then this hurricane thing happens. but I just wish that that had been longer, because nothing really happens until that, and then at the end of it, it just, I don't know, it just fell flat for me a little bit. Everybody said that this book made them cry, and honestly I just didn't feel emotionally connected. I don't know, I just felt like it could have been better. I don't really have much to say about this one. This was also like a 2.5 star. So yeah, that was another disappointing read. My most disappointing read, was a 1 star. The Cove. This book, we followed these 2 couples who were going on holiday to this like little island with their children, and it says that the couples, one knows something more about the other person, that there's these secrets and a lot of things start to happen, but nothing blimmin' happens this entire book. Like, it's just nothing is happening. There's no plot, there's nothing going on in this book. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, it's just these people on holiday and it's going back and forth and nothing really happens. And then at the end, when something happens to someone, you find out who did it. It made no sense why this person would do what they did. Oh, I can't. Okay, spoiler. I'm just gonna put a spoiler here, and then I'll put a skip thing when you can skip it if you don't want a spoiler. So the person who ends up killing the person who went missing gets found out, but then gets come away with it. Like, the law people, the police people literally know it's her, and she completely gets away with it. And it's like, what? And I swear that's what happened. Like, I don't know if my mind's just muddled because this book was so bad, but I gave this book a 2 star at one point, and it was just not good. They could have done this so much better. Like, there's so many other ways they could have done this that would have been so much better for the story. But yeah, this book was just honestly stupid. Like, the main island people having a problem with them was just like a pointless story to make it more interesting that had no relevance to the story whatsoever. Like, it didn't even impact the story, to be honest, so that wasn't needed. Like, I was so angry reading this that the last 4 pages I didn't even continue, but I was just like, just get through these damn pages. But yeah, this was a load of rubbish. So we're gonna do like a little recap on all the 5 stars, 4 stars, and all the ratings I had this month, because I generally had a decent reading month this month, but because of the amount of books I read, I definitely had like quite a few DNFs. I believe I had 4 or 5 DNFs this month. I don't remember exactly what ones they are. I know it was now The Roughest Draft, Wendy Darling, Deadly Education. I can't remember. During this challenge, it definitely got really difficult after the first week. I was like on such a high, and then suddenly I really struggled to find something to read, and I was like, I'm gonna fail this challenge. Like, I'm gonna fail, because nothing I was picking up was grabbing my attention. And then finally, I think it was The Witch Haven that brought me out of that like little reading slump or whatever that was. Thank God. And yeah, I've officially read 14 books, which, that's insane. But yeah, so I'm gonna look at my piece of paper because I'm not gonna remember this. I had 1 star, which was this. I had 1 2-star, which was The Night Shift. I no longer have this book. I actually sent it back, so I'll put it up here. I had 2 2.5 stars, which were Don't Make Me Turn Myself Around and Gallant. Then I had 2 3 stars, which were 13, nope, this time next year, and If I Never Met You. I had 1 3.5 star, which was 13 Weddings. 2 4 stars, which were Maybe in Another Life and The Witch Haven. I had 1 4.5 star, which was The Lucky Escape. And then I had 4 5 stars. Like, I'm so happy with that. And I'll show you what ones these were. Like, they were A Flicker in the Dark, One True Loves, Every Summer After, and American Royals Rivals. Honestly, like, I feel like I had a really decent reading month. If I had to say what one was my favourite read this month, then I'd have to say Taylor Jenkins Reid, One True Love, because this book really hit me. I don't think I'm going to ever forget the story. I think it was just so beautifully done. And yeah, so I think this one has to be my favourite one that I read this month. My least favourite one, we know, we don't need to discuss that one, because that is The Cove. Honestly, that's just like, no. That's the end of my first reading challenge, and I can't believe how well it went. I mean, I read all of these. This is not going to go well. This is heavy. Okay, I hope you can see that because I'm going to break my wrist. I'm really, really happy with how it went, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. So if you did, please hit that like button. Let me know below if there's any other challenges you want me to do, because I definitely will consider doing more challenges in the future. This was a lot of fun. Next month though, I'm definitely not planning to read 14 books because I'm going to take it a little bit slower with my reading, and I always have to work on my own book. So I probably will not be reading 14 books next month, but I still plan to read at least 5 to 8 books next month. But yeah, let me know below guys if you want to see me do another reading challenge. And like I said, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and until next time, bye.